الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب وأحلم يجعل له وجه أحمده سبحانه وتعالى وأشكره وهو أهل الحمد والثناء وأشهد أن لا إله إلا هو وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ومصطفى اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. Alhamdulillah bil alamin. Allah Almighty says, leave everything and hasten to the mosque. Allah is always showing us mercy. Mercy, mercy, mercy. Even though he is strict in punishment and he is just, al-adl, and that justice is to get us to realize that we are responsible, we have responsibility. And when we're not fulfilling that responsibility that Allah Almighty has given us, there is a consequence in our lives. It affects us in our lives. And wisdom is being able to recognize that why is this happening to me? Why is this consistently happening to me? And ask, what's going on? Then Allah Almighty, if we're sincere, Allah will show us step by step where we're off. You think Allah Almighty brought us in existence for us to be oppressed, for us to be slaughtered, for us to be mistreated, for us to be hungry, for us to be unhappy, for us to have, not to have? Do you think Allah created us for that? Would you invite someone to your home and out of the closet someone come and choke them or hit them or do some harm to them? Would you invite somebody to your house and treat them like that? Yet Allah Almighty is most gracious, most merciful. He brought us here in this life to be mistreated? I don't think so. We have taken this mistreatment as something that, well, stuff happens. It's a reason why stuff happens. There's a reason why everything happens. Look at the story in the Quran with these two neighbors. One neighbor, Allah Almighty gave him, he had date vines, and around the date vines he had date palms, and between that he had cornfields, and under that he had a river bringing water to his garden, and his garden flourished. He was wealthy. And he said to his neighbor, look what I have, you don't have this. I have a multitude of sons and I'm wealthy and I have all of this. And the guy said, it may be that my Lord has something better for me, and that he may send a thunderbolt on your produce and destroy everything. And Allah destroyed all of that. And the man was so upset, he said, maybe I wronged my soul and I should not have set up partners to Allah Almighty. He set up partners to Allah Almighty. You have to understand that there's something more valuable in this life than the material things, than the wealth, than the fame, than the glory that Allah gives us through things, through situations. That's the value we are putting on this life. And when others don't have this, then we feel we are superior to them. But this other one said that it may be that my Lord may give me something better. He wasn't jealous of this man. This was someone who realized that this world, the value of this world was the value of a wing of a mosquito. And if Allah Almighty gave him this as a means of testing him, and he put more value on that than Allah Almighty, then it was obvious that his world was going to crumble. You have to understand, from week to week, you're coming to the mosque or you're going to places of worship. How are you improving? What has happened from the last time you were visiting and worshiping to this time? How have you improved? Okay, maybe you've made more money. Maybe you've become more famous. Maybe you have acquired more material things. But those material things have no value. You can't put a value on your life improving because you have collected material things. When Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salam, and we say it all the time, when that fire was burning, we could see it for miles and miles. And this ant put water in his mouth and said he was going to put this fire of Prophet Ibrahim out. This ant believed without a doubt in the powers of Allah Almighty in him or her, that they could put this fire out. That they could put the fire out. And Allah Almighty put this verse in the Quran to teach humanity, here's an ant that believes without doubt that they can put the fire of Prophet Ibrahim out. And yet humanity is being slaughtered from east to west, north to south, because they are setting up partners to Allah Almighty. They're not looking to Allah Almighty as the one who has power over all things. We're giving power to those things that are created. We don't get it. And we're so jammed up. This is why we fear in our lives. We grieve in our lives. We hate in our lives. We're jealous in our lives. We are arrogant in our lives. We're pride. That pride and that anger and all of that comes as a result of having material things or not having material things. If we have them, we're proud. If we don't have them, we're angry. We're jealous. But yet, it has the value of a wing of a mosquito. When Allah Almighty sent 124,000 prophets to people, they did not come with money for the people. They came with Iman. They cleaned the people's hearts. They were able to take off that rubbish and falsehood out of their hearts. And they were able to plant the seeds of Iman in their hearts. Because all the prophets, all the companions of the prophets, all the disciples of the prophets were people of Iman, of faith. That was their value. And so the world, they had a domination, dominion over the world, in the universe, in the heavens, and the earth, because of that Iman, not because of their material things, not because they were famous. It wasn't that. Why do we think that we can go to Allah Almighty with material prestige? We're not saying that material things are not important. Our physical body is material. Our physical body is dunya. We have to maintain it. There are lawful things that we can put in our mouth to maintain it. There are lawful things that we can do to maintain it. There are also unlawful things that we can do that will destroy it. Allah wants us to be happy people. He wants us to enjoy this life. But we have to be for Allah Almighty. We can't be lazy people. You have to have a heart of giving, and you have to believe that Allah has given you the power to give, the power to get, the power to do, the power to sustain. Otherwise we die and we're setting up partners to Allah Almighty. Because you're unhappy because you don't have the material wherewithal that you see someone else has. Like the believer said, it may be that Allah Almighty give me something better than all these produces. Give me something better than all this wealth. Give me something better than all these sons. And maybe He may destroy what you think is the high life. And that's exactly what happened. So this was a man of faith. That Allah Almighty was testing them. He was testing this one and showing that, okay, I'm giving this one a whole lot of wealth, a whole lot of prestige, a whole lot of this that everybody's accepting and giving praise for. This to you, I'm giving you nothing. What are you going to do? And Allah looks at the heart. And the guy says, oh, I have more than you. He says, okay, alhamdulillah. Maybe that Allah has something better for me. This is what we are missing. We don't have no Iman. Iman is better than this world and everything in this world all the time. Because whoever has Iman has the world. Whoever has the world has nothing. You see, as we're struggling and we are fighting for it, we're lying over it, we're killing over it, we're stealing it, wronging our souls over it because we think it's valuable. All you have to do is ask Allah Almighty sincerely, oh my Lord, help me. With sincerity. Even if you can't cry, make your face look like you're crying. We don't have that yet. We don't have that yet. And that's why we're suffering everywhere. Everybody's suffering. The only sense of success is that I got this and I got that. And yet we cannot take 1 cent with us. They say Alexander the Great, when he died, he was a conqueror. He conquered the east, the west, the north, and the south. And he said that when I die, I want you to take my hands and put it outside of my casket and open my hands so that the people will see that the great Alexander leave this life with nothing. Why was he conquering? If he conquered from east to west, north to south, why did Allah Almighty make him a conqueror? So he can say he is a healthy, wealthy man? No, he never forgot about Allah Almighty. Allah Almighty raised him and established him in strength and power so that he may show examples of what Iman is and always have been. And that he conquered from east to west, north to south. Not through his army, not through his material goods, not through his money, not through his fame, Allah Almighty, like everyone has equal access to the sun. Everybody can go under the sun and get attained. Everybody can go under the sun and take its nutrients. Everyone has equal access to Allah Almighty, but we have to be sincere. We're fake. Our lives reflect fake falsehood. And our lives, in our homes, on our jobs, in the street, in the school, in the mosque, in the churches, in the synagogues, we're fake. Have no power, only misery, and misery likes company. Only be there, go there to make problems. But Allah is al-adl, Allah is just. Don't think that it's going to continue as it is. That's why Allah Almighty says, study. Read about what before you. There were people that had more knowledge than you that we destroyed. They too also set up partners to Allah Almighty, and we destroyed their civilizations. Those who had Iman with Allah Almighty, we are keeping their names. You know about them in the Old Testament. You know about them in the New Testament. You know about them in the Quran. You know about them. Because these were people of Iman. See, you can claim religion. You can say, yeah, I'm a Muslim. Okay? But very few people have Iman. Very few people have Iman. Iman is the spirit of Islam. It is the power of Islam. Because we have 1 billion Muslims. And yet, dissension and crime and tragedies and killings are happening from east to west, north to south. But where are the best of people evolved for mankind to say no? And have the power to back it up when they say no. We have not seen that since the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him. We have not seen that since the time of the Moors. We have not seen that since the time of the Ottomans. And yet we're still here. And this is still happening. Why wouldn't Allah Almighty raise somebody up that would not be like those who left their posts, who were fake? They were tyrants in their homes, on their jobs, in the streets. They were weak people. They had no strength, no Iman, no belief. Phonies. Running into mosque for what? Say you bumped your head? Where? For what? Where are the men? Allah Almighty is going to hold the men responsible. Allah Almighty is going to hold the men responsible. The men that say that they believe in Allah Almighty responsible. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. A'udhu min shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, wa salatu wa salamu ala karul mursalin, Muhammadin nabiyyi wa ahlihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah bil alamin. We're asking Allah Almighty for real Iman. Ameen. Not fake Iman. Ameen. Not just you salam alaikum. Inshallah. You say inshallah, you don't have no intention of feeling the inshallah. You know what the inshallah is? Inshallah is that you put forth your greatest endeavor with all your mental, physical, and spiritual being. And it was Allah's will that it didn't happen. Not that you decided, I don't want to do it now. That's a shaitanic inshallah. That's a fake inshallah. That's not inshallah from Iman, real faith. We haven't seen it in this time. Yes, everybody's professing, yeah, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Muslim. Okay, we'll see in the coming days who has the taqwa. We'll see. We'll see who has it. And if we fake, it's going to show. So we're asking Allah Almighty not to be the fake ones. Wa ma la tawfiq al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah al-Alameen. Rahman ar-Rahim. Malik yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim.